What's happening, guys? Rules for Rebels here with episode 3 of our new side hustle series, Rebels Hustle. Every Tuesday and Thursday, we'll be covering a different story from a real life entrepreneur who started a side hustle outside of their normal day job. Now, before I launch into this, let me say if you enjoy this episode, if you enjoy my channel, please like the videos, please subscribe if you're not subscribed, and please share the videos. I am on a quest to hit 100,000 subscribers and get that silver play button, and I seem to have kind of stalled at the 45 to 40,000 subscriber mark, so please help me get those numbers up. That motherfucker Alex Becker, who makes like one video a month calling everybody poop heads and wearing a Pikachu costume, I had passed him up and he's doubled me and is about to hit 100,000 subscribers. So please subscribe, tell your friends to subscribe, share my videos, and try to help get me there soon. I would greatly appreciate it. But that aside, let's get back to this side hustle series. So with each of these stories that we're going to be covering, we're going to be talking about what inspired these entrepreneurs' ideas, how they thought of the ideas, how they took action and made their business happen, and where that business is today. I'll also try to, where relevant, show you guys how you can get something similar going, try to help you, maybe inspire some ideas and things like that as well. So for anybody new, and to recap for everyone, a side hustle is something you typically can start with little to no money, something you can start outside of your normal everyday job, and something that doesn't require 40 hours a week or anything close to it. Whether you hate your job and are looking for a way out, or whether you love your job and are just looking for a little side income, everybody should have multiple streams of income. So last Thursday, we told the story of Max, a Scottish man who created a set it and forget it affiliate marketing business using Amazon's Associates program. This week, we're going to be discussing something even more substantial. Today, we're going to be talking about Sarah, a woman who started a custom printed candy heart business for Valentine's Day. What's really cool about this business is two things. First, it didn't even start out as a business. It simply started out with her wanting to get some gifts for her coworkers, and that's essentially what sparked the idea. And second, this business, which today is a manufacturing business, manufacturing their own products, and is doing six figures, started off as nothing more than a retail drop shipping or a retail arbitrage business, which is exactly what a lot of you guys are already doing right now when you're drop shipping stuff from AliExpress to eBay to Amazon to your Shopify customers, when you're drop shipping stuff from Walmart.com or Sears.com to your customers. So without further ado, let's get started telling Sarah's story. Now, one big message and one big takeaway from today's story is this. If you're looking for something or a product and you can't find it, build it yourself. This is exactly what Sarah did. Sarah Kaczynski was looking to buy some custom printed candy hearts for her coworkers. You know, those chalky shaped candies that we tend to see around Valentine's Day. Now, Sarah figured it would be kind of a fun or a cute idea and thought surely it can't be hard to find something like this. So Sarah started Googling, started doing some research. She searched high and low, but she didn't have much luck finding custom printed candy hearts. Now, in desperation, she started contacting candy companies, seeing if they had any ideas, if they offered this service, etc. One particular company reached back out to Sarah via Facebook and told her they offered this service, and after emailing with them, discovered the fee was very reasonable. Despite looking at their website and social media accounts, however, Sarah could not find any additional information about this service, and the company really wasn't advertising this service. Any mention of this service on the company's website, marketing materials, social media platforms, etc. was non-existent. So what did Sarah do? Sarah had a background in marketing, so she emailed the company and explained that she worked in marketing and could help them with this, but nobody ever replied to her. Now, Sarah, working in marketing for her day job and being skilled in marketing, just couldn't resist but to offer this service herself. So what she did, she quickly threw up a 3-page template type website, something that any of you guys could do using something like Shopify, Wix, BigCommerce, GoDaddy, Volusion, etc. She posted these custom printed candy hearts at just a slightly over a price over what the manufacturer would charge. This is essentially retail dropshipping or retail arbitrage. Not so different from finding a product on Bed Bath & Beyond or Target or Walmart's website, marking it up and reselling it on eBay, Amazon, or Shopify. Not very different than finding a product on AliExpress and dropshipping it to your Shopify customers either. Now, because Sarah couldn't find anyone offering this service, obviously nobody was competing for these keywords or the business. So within a matter of days, Sarah's website, which was just a simple 3-page website with no domain age or anything like that, wound up ranking #1 on Google for custom printed candy hearts. That same day, she got her first order, then 3 more, then 3 more, and the orders continued rolling in. Now, even though Sarah was just a reseller or a dropshipper, she discovered the business was taking up a lot of her time. She wasn't manufacturing, she was simply taking orders from customers via her website and then replacing those orders on the manufacturer's website, having those orders shipped out or dropshipped to her customers. Now, keeping up with all the details was taking a lot of her time. And it wasn't just her either. The manufacturer themselves was falling behind with trying to fill all the orders that Sarah had, in addition to their normal orders. So during the peak of the season, they emailed Sarah and let her know that they wouldn't be able to fill every one of her orders for that season. Now, this is a common problem with dropshipping because you're not actually handling the production, because you're not actually the one ordering large quantities of inventory, because you're reliant on a third party. It can really throw a wrench in your business when inventory isn't available, prices change, etc. And this is exactly what Sarah was running into. Now, I'm sure it was a little bit embarrassing for Sarah to have to email her customers and say, hey, I know you were counting on this gift for your boyfriend or girlfriend. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to fill the orders. However, despite not having all her orders filled, Sarah still made a nice profit for that first season. Custom printed candy hearts is obviously a seasonal business which only lasts a few weeks leading up to Valentine's Day. Sarah was thinking ahead, however, and wanted to be better prepared for when the next season came around the following year. And again, she did not want to be reliant on an unreliable company to fill her orders. Sarah was smart. She was good at marketing. She had a lot of skills, but what she didn't have skills in and what she knew zero about was production lines, custom printing, the candy industry, machinery, printing machinery. Sarah knew nothing about any of this stuff. Like most entrepreneurs, Sarah decided to figure it out. Now, this is another huge lesson that we can take away from Sarah. Despite not knowing any of these things, Sarah didn't quit. She didn't whine. She didn't give up. She didn't say, oh my gosh, I need a mentor. She figured that shit out on her own, guys. That is the big takeaway that I want you guys to take from this story. So what did Sarah do? She started researching companies who make candy equipment and printing equipment, and she wound up finding a supplier who stated they had a machine which could do exactly what she wanted. The only problem, after ordering this machine, waiting a month for it to arrive from China, it showed up and she realized it didn't do the job. It didn't do what she needed it to do. So next, she got on the phone, started calling around to all sorts of companies, big and small. She found a company who promised to make a machine which would actually work and actually do what she needed. Now, the downside, this machine was going to cost her all her revenue from the first season. And at the end of the day, there was no guarantee that this machine would work. What if it was like the first machine? What if it didn't work? But despite that, because this was a side hustle, because Sarah didn't need the money, because she wasn't relying on the money, that money she made the first season, she decided to roll the dice and buy the machine. So the machine shows up about a month later, and it actually works. So Sarah ran that machine 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and was able to fill all her orders herself. So Sarah was in a good place. She had a #1 Google ranking. She had the ability to fulfill all her orders herself and was not dependent on a third-party supplier. It's a year later at this point. Sarah's worked out all the kinks. She has some employees running the production so she can focus on her day job, as well as more of the marketing and SEO and website aspect of the business. And despite having a 6-figure side hustle, Sarah is still working her day job. Now, this may seem shocking to a lot of you guys who dream about the day when you can quit your job, but Sarah discovered she wasn't really after the money. What she was really after was more the freedom, and she didn't have to leave her day job to get that freedom. So basically what Sarah discovered is because she's not dependent on that job, her boss appreciates her a little bit more because she's there because she wants to be there and not because she has to be there for the paycheck. She enjoys the job more, and she tends to get a little bit more respect from her employer. She's actually wound up getting a raise. She has a little bit more scheduling flexibility, and everything is going good for her. Now, this is definitely something that I can relate to. It was about 3 years after starting my side hustle before I left my day job. But one thing I realized towards the end of my employment of, quote unquote, working for the man, was that work was a lot more tolerable when I knew I didn't have to be there. When my boss got on my case, when I had a bad day, just knowing that if I really wanted to say take this job and shove it and walk out, that I could do that I didn't need the job, it made the job much more enjoyable. It made waking up in the morning, going in there a lot more enjoyable. And there was none of the stress of, oh my gosh, what happens if I lose my job? Because I had a successful side hustle going and I'd be fine if I lost my job. I eventually did leave that job. My side hustle had grown to the point I could more than support myself. Enough time had passed that things were pretty stable with the business, and the business was growing at the point where it did need full-time attention. It just so happened that around this time, the company I was working for started to go downhill. New management came in. The company I worked for was sold, and again, more new management came in. And overall, things just started to kind of suck and go downhill. And that made the kind of nervous task of quitting that job much easier to do. Total side note, but even after I left that job, within 6 months, my business lost our payment processor. We ran into several other really, really big problems, which could have put us out of business. But again, what did we do? We persevered, we trucked on, we figured out solutions to our problem, and I still have that business going to this day. One more lesson, and probably the most important lesson in this story that you should be left with this story: Sarah didn't know half the things she needed to know to get this business going, but she figured it out. She didn't quit. She didn't give up. She didn't sit around whining about how she needed a mentor. She researched, she made phone calls, and she figured things out on her own. This is something that every one of you who really want to be an entrepreneur need to learn to do. The definition of entrepreneurship is literally being innovative and being a problem solver. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, you can't be the type of person who sits back and waits for somebody else to solve your problems, and you can't be the type of person who needs somebody to hold your hand. You have to be a go-getter, you have to be a self-starter, and you have to be somebody who perseveres and gets out there and solves problems. So when Sarah couldn't find custom printed candies, she went out and found them by asking candy manufacturers. When a supplier she used couldn't reliably fill orders, she found a way to do it herself. That first machine she ordered from China didn't work, so she decided to invest her whole first year's earnings into a new machine, and she was able to do that because she didn't need the money, she knew her product would sell, and she knew there would be orders the next year. All she needed to do was figure out how to make the product. Now, this story tells us about probably one of the most important skills an entrepreneur should have, and that is resourcefulness. I would say resourcefulness, and shortly followed by perseverance. Now, in terms of how you could do something similar, this business, this side hustle, isn't quite as cut and dry as an Amazon affiliate program like we discussed last week, where I can just say, okay, go join the Amazon as Associates program, find a niche, and start creating content like Max. This particular business requires a bit more outside the box thinking. I'd suggest you think about products you've sought out in the past but couldn't find. Think about products which you maybe have thought about customizing, but where nobody offers that service. Think about something you wanted to buy for yourself or for somebody else, but that didn't exist. These are great jumping off points to getting ideas to start a business like Sarah's. And I was trying to think of a way where I could say, okay, here's a place where you can go look for ideas. And this idea is not, this business that Sarah created, it's very simple. It started off as retail arbitrage and turned into something bigger, but it's not as simple as like go find a cheap product at Target, mark it up and resell it, because at the end of the day, if you're selling a NutriBullet, there's really nothing unique about that. What was unique about Sarah's business is that she was customizing candies, which is something nobody else can do. So here was the only kind of spin I could put on it to where you could maybe run with this idea yourself. Let's see. So you may want to look for USA-based companies who provide marketing and or novelty type products to companies to advertise. Think about things that beer or liquor companies give away in bars, things your company gives you for works, little company swag. Start browsing the suppliers of those products, start browsing their online catalogs, and you may come across some cheap and interesting products which you could brand and sell on Amazon. Many of these companies don't just sell zip drives that say Xerox and lanyards that say Dell. Some of these companies actually have some pretty cool, unique products. And also, by sourcing this stuff yourself, you can typically order by sourcing this stuff yourself domestically, you can typically order in smaller quantities. You don't have to deal with the confusing and often expensive shipping from China, and you may be able to find an opportunity to brand or create a product right in your backyard. So as always, guys, I welcome your thoughts and comments. Drop a comment either in the comments section below this blog post if you're reading it, or below this YouTube video if you're watching it. Thanks for checking back in this week for Side Hustle Series Episode 3. Hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. Stay tuned for Thursday when we'll be discussing a woman from Pennsylvania who made over $40,000 pinning pictures on Pinterest. For now, guys, Rules for Rebels, signing off. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please share this video if you enjoyed it, and I will catch you guys on Thursday.